There's a whisper spreading through Hollywood right now. Not a scandal, not a casting rumor, but something far more personal and far more final. Insiders say that Johnny Depp, one of the most recognizable and unconventional actors of our time, might be ready to walk away from acting for good. It's not official, not confirmed, but the signals are there. And when you start to look closely, the pieces begin to fit together. Behind closed doors, those closest to Depp say he's tired, not just physically, but emotionally, spiritually, creatively. After a lifetime of giving everything to the screen, he might finally be done giving it all. To understand why, you have to rewind the story. Johnny Depp didn't chase fame the way others did. In fact, he seemed to run from it. He was never supposed to be a movie star. He started as a musician, drifting into acting almost by accident. But when he showed up in that first small film role, something clicked. Casting directors saw something strange in him, something not polished, not predictable, but magnetic. And suddenly, he was in demand. Studios wanted him to be the next teenage heartthrob, the next poster boy. But even then, Depp pushed back. He hated being labeled. He didn't want to play the safe parts. He wanted to disappear into characters, to experiment, to be weird. And that's exactly what made him stand out. From Edward Scissorhands to Captain Jack Sparrow, Depp built his career by refusing to be ordinary. Every role felt like a rebellion against Hollywood's expectations. But that same rebellion came with a cost. It made him unpredictable to work with. It made studios nervous. And eventually, it made him an easy target when things started to fall apart. The higher you climb, the longer your shadow becomes, and Depp's shadow stretched across decades of fame, chaos, and controversy. Insiders say that what's pushing him toward retirement isn't just exhaustion, it's disillusionment. For years, he believed in the magic of filmmaking, in the idea that art could stand above politics, that performance could outshine gossip. But that belief has been tested over and over again. The court cases, the public trials, the endless media circus, they didn't just damage his reputation, they drained his passion. Acting used to be his escape. Now it reminds him of everything he's lost. Every time he steps in front of a camera, it comes with baggage, headlines, opinions, endless commentary. What once brought him peace now brings him pressure. People close to him describe it as burnout at a soul level. They say he's grown quiet, introspective, withdrawn from the industry's noise. After decades of playing eccentric characters, he's starting to wonder who he really is when the cameras stop rolling. For someone who's spent most of his life pretending to be other people, that question hits hard, and it's one he can't escape anymore. The truth is, Depp might be ready to live for himself, not for the audience. In the years since his public battles, Depp has retreated into a different rhythm. Instead of chasing movie deals, he's focused on music, painting, producing, and private life. He's been spending more time in Europe, away from the Hollywood glare. Friends say he's more comfortable there, walking through art galleries, recording with musicians, living quietly. He's talked about finding peace and creativity that isn't judged by box office numbers or critics. That's the life of an artist who's realized he doesn't need Hollywood to feel fulfilled. He doesn't need another blockbuster or another award to prove anything. He's already done it all. But it's not just about peace, it's about pain too. The emotional toll of the last decade can't be overstated. The trials, the betrayal, the public scrutiny, they broke something inside him. Acting requires vulnerability. It demands you open yourself up completely. But how do you stay vulnerable when the world has already picked you apart? How do you give your heart to characters when you're still trying to piece together your own? That's the quiet struggle Depp faces. He's not bitter. He's just tired of performing in a world that turned his real life into a spectacle. Some insiders say he's been quietly turning down scripts, even big offers, choosing instead to focus on projects that actually mean something to him. The days of chasing studio money are over. He doesn't want to play the Hollywood game anymore, the politics, the red carpets, the fake smiles. He's done being someone else's investment. He wants to create on his own terms. And that's why retirement doesn't scare him. It excites him. Because for the first time, it wouldn't be running away, it would be walking away on his own time, his own choice. But here's where it gets deeper. Those close to Depp say the industry's changing in ways that don't fit him anymore. Hollywood's become more corporate, more cautious, more afraid of risk. Depp came from an era where personality and chaos were part of the charm. Now, it's all about control and image. And for someone like him, who built his entire career on breaking rules, this new version of Hollywood feels lifeless. He said before that the art of acting is being replaced by algorithms, studios choosing projects not based on creativity, but on data and trends. To an old-school artist like him, that's heartbreaking. There's also a philosophical side to it. Depp has spoken in interviews about mortality, legacy, and what it means to truly live. You can sense that he's thinking beyond fame now. He's talked about how short life feels, how quickly it all moves. Maybe that's what's behind this quiet decision. Maybe he's realizing that after 40 years in front of cameras, he doesn't want his final chapter to be another film. He wants it to be real life. A simple, unfiltered existence where he doesn't have to hide behind costumes or makeup. For a man who's spent his life pretending, the idea of finally just being himself might be the ultimate freedom. Still, the people around him are divided. Some believe this talk of retirement is temporary, that he'll eventually come back, maybe after a long break. They say he's too creative to stop completely. Acting is in his blood, and you can't just walk away from something that defines you. But others think it's real this time. They say he's different now, softer, quieter, more grounded. He stopped chasing what he's already proven. He's found something most people in Hollywood never do: enough. The irony is, Depp's potential retirement might actually seal his legacy more powerfully than any comeback could. Walking away at this point, on his own terms, could be the most fitting ending for someone who's always defied expectations. He's never done what people expected him to. He's always moved against the current. So maybe it makes perfect sense that, instead of fading away slowly, he might simply vanish, disappear from the screens, leaving behind a trail of unforgettable characters and an air of mystery, just like he's always done. And if you listen closely to his recent interviews, the signs are there. He talks about being content with where he is, about how acting isn't everything. He's grateful, but detached. He's reflective, not restless. That's not the tone of someone planning a big comeback. That's the tone of someone who's made peace with letting go. And that peace, after all the chaos, might be what he's been chasing all along. Behind closed doors, those who know him best describe him as peaceful but cautious. He's not announcing anything publicly because he doesn't need to. He's not the kind of person to stage a farewell tour or a dramatic goodbye. If he quits, it'll be quiet, no press release, no tears, no final film announcement. He'll just stop. And maybe one day people will realize he's gone, and the silence will speak louder than any role ever could. It's a strange thing, watching a man like Johnny Depp fade from the stage he once ruled. But maybe that's how it should be. Hollywood loves a comeback story, but it rarely celebrates endings. Maybe this is his way of rewriting that script, turning his departure into an act of rebellion, one last refusal to play by their rules. Because if you've watched him closely over the years, you know that Johnny Depp has never been about following scripts. He's always been about breaking them. So what does it mean if he really does retire? It means the end of an era. A reminder that the industry that builds icons also burns them out. It means that even the most resilient spirits can grow weary. It means that maybe fame isn't the dream it once seemed to be. And it means that Johnny Depp, the man who gave the world 1,000 faces, might finally be ready to show his real one. It also forces Hollywood to look at itself. What happens when its most daring artist decides he's had enough? When the system that feeds off creativity becomes too toxic for its own creators? Depp's possible retirement is more than just one man stepping away. It's a symbol of something bigger. It's a sign that even legends get tired of pretending. That sometimes the bravest thing an artist can do isn't to keep performing, it's to stop. And maybe, in his own poetic way, Johnny Depp is giving Hollywood one last performance, the role of a man who walked away from the noise, the lies, the pressure, and chose peace instead. No studio could write that ending better. No script could capture that kind of truth. Because here's the real twist. The world might miss Johnny Depp the actor, but the man himself might finally be finding what he's been searching for all along. Not applause, not fame, not redemption, just quiet, just freedom. After everything he's lived through, maybe that's the only ending that makes sense. If this really is the end, then it's not a tragedy. It's a full circle. From outsider to icon, from idol to outcast, from actor to artist, he's lived every chapter. And now maybe he's ready to close the book. But knowing Depp, he won't announce it. He'll just drift into the background the same way he arrived, mysterious, unpredictable, unforgettable. And maybe that's the point. Maybe Johnny Depp doesn't need to play any more characters because he's finally ready to be himself.